Anti-Society, welcome back to the Anti-Social Planet, and today we are checking out chapters 71 and 72 of Tower of God. So in the last couple of chapters, we spent a lot of time setting up the conflict between Lady Yuri and Ren, with a lot of talking back and forth of overt threats, veiled threats. There was a lot of figuring out who had more authority or pull with Jahad, and I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably Lady Yuri. She's a princess of Jahad. She has a bunch of power because of that. She seems to be pretty high up on the whole hierarchy of people who get to, I don't know, be around Jahad, have his favor. So I feel like it's her. Also, she kind of obliterated Ren's counter, where he went a little bit more crazy, in my opinion, where he had all of the different like fish, eel things that were kind of, I don't know, manifesting out of him. I don't fully understand Ren's ability, but that happened, and Lady Yuri just sort of flattened them, squished them, didn't really do much to her, and then proceeded to flick Ren into oblivion. So I'm gonna go on a limb and say Lady Yuri's probably better. Probably stronger, probably gonna win out on this one. Yeah, she has one of the special 13-month weapons. Good point, Magnus. I have a feeling Lady Yuri is gonna pull it on top. I mean, we haven't fully seen her fight up to this point, but not only is she a princess of Jahad, but she's one of the like special chosen princesses of Jahad with the different weapons. The Black March is there somewhere. She doesn't seem to need it at the moment, but I'm sure she will want it back. Just, you know, I don't think it's gonna be much of a competition, but I'm excited to see where that kind of escalates now that we're getting into some of the more fight parts of it. Also interested to see how she interacts with Endorsi and Anak, because we haven't seen a lot of that. She seems to know who Anak is, like the mother, and probably has some history there. I don't know if she's ever met Endorsi before. Like, I don't know how much Endorsi has like interacted with the other princesses of Jahad, especially like the higher up ones, or like rankers and have the 13-month weapons and stuff like that. So I don't know if she's ever met Lady Yuri before this point. So I'd like to see them interacting with her as someone who has been doing this for a long time, has lots of experience, probably has some tricks up her sleeve. So I'd like to see how they end up communicating with each other, what they end up sharing and stuff like that. And there's lots of other stuff too, like the fact that a bunch of Lady Yuri's friends have also shown up, and one has taken over Kun's lighthouse, which he does not seem happy about. Another couple have woken up Lorray, who is also put out about that particular turn of events, and some of them that are just, I'm assuming, wandering around, interacting with some of the other regulars that are in the test right now. So lots of things that have to kind of wind up. We also had a reference in the last couple of chapters of where the heck is Hats, which is a good question. Where is Hats? We have not seen him in a minute, so I would like to know. Lots of things going into the closer to the end of this season. So I'm excited to see what we get into. Probably some more surprises that I can't even comprehend yet. So let's get into chapter 71. Chapter 71. I am going to feel so many therapeutic things watching Lady Yuri beat up Ren. I really hope it happens. I hope that he doesn't like chicken out and decide to bail, which could happen, and I would understand why he would choose to bail, but I'd rather see him get smacked around. Just my personal opinion. Ooh, he dodged the flick. That's pretty good, I guess. She doesn't seem like she's trying though. Let's be honest. Lady Yuri is not going all out at this point, so I guess there would be opportunity. But look at the crater. I would not want to be anywhere near that. Like, how she's like come here, like just mildly inconvenienced, like scolding a child for not doing what she wants them to do. Are they bothering Lorray? He just wants a nap. He finally won back his blanket and pillow after putting in all that work and being blackmailed. He just wants a nap. Let the boy nap. I like how some like new, obviously powerful people have just shown up, and Lorray is like, I'm going to sleep. Leave me alone. Like we found a homeless guy. I mean, I don't know that. I don't know what Lorray's situation is. I don't know if he'd mind as long as he has his blanket and pillow. He seems to be low maintenance kind of person. But I'm also wondering, with this wording of what is that pink chick doing here, the wording of it, of that, makes me think that maybe he knows who she is prior to this moment, but that might just be a translation thing. Again, I can't read too much into the wording of things, because I know that sometimes the translation is weird, but that's what it hints at me. Oh yeah, no, Lady Yuri's definitely been ticked off with her interactions with Ren. It is not going to go well for anybody. Is everyone excited about the fact that there might be a fight? I mean, I'm excited that there might be a fight, so I understand. I don't know if I would want to be near it though. It's one thing to be excited from a distance about a fictional fight. It's another one to like actually be there. I like that she calls him Blueberry. Look how this is all the energy of those like fight, fight, fight memes. They're all just like, Lady Yuri's gonna fight. Oh, that's so cool. And they're just like running off excitedly. And then there's Kun, who's just like, I want my lighthouse back. Oh, okay. Thank you, Magnus. Yeah, I was like, I feel like because of the wording that Lorraine didn't know who she was. So yeah, they might not have met each other, but they know of each other, which kind of makes sense. I mean, especially with someone like Lorraine, where he knows a little bit more about the inner workings of the tower than some of the other regulars. He probably knows about the more powerful people and rankers and stuff like that in general, like has heard of them, has seen them. We know that they are like on advertisements and stuff like that. They're kind of celebrities. So even if he doesn't know her personally, hasn't met her personally until this moment, he probably could recognize some of them. So it's a little bit different than like perspective from like Bomb or Rachel, who don't have any of the context of what the tower is like. I kind of forget sometimes that they're like celebrities. You can buy like Quant brand drinks. So it's a possibility that he knows of her. I mean, are we making fun of people for using nicknames, Kun? Don't you like only call Rock by a nickname and him call you that in return? Just seems a little hypocritical. Because you would also be, if you were talking to Rock right now, would you have called him Rock? I don't think so. Ooh. Evan. After he's alive after being kicked off a ledge. I moved past the part where Kun seems to be trying to take control of the situation and find out what's going on, because I assumed we were going to get more information, but we've cut to something else. I just noticed that I like didn't comment on it. Who are we talking to though? Trying to recognize the costume. It's been a while since we briefly saw the people that were with Lady Yuri, so I don't know if I'll remember if it's one of them or not. Oh, is he talking to them? Where they're all like, come join the fight, come see what happens. Poor Evan. Gonna miss all the fun. Has other things to get done, I'm sure. Very busy. Yet she did kick you off a ledge. That is true. Yes, I feel like he's one of the ones we met with Lady Yuri. The tall, scary one. I mean, maybe he isn't that tall. I know Evan is small. But I wonder, we're going to see Hung Sung. Interesting. Are we finally going to see what Hung Sung knows about what the heck is going on? I'm assuming all of the above. I'm assuming Hung Sung is one of those people that just knows all. On the floor, because that's like part of his job. And he just seems like the kind of person who likes to know all the things. I want to know how involved Hung Sung is, because there's one thing to be like sitting back and letting stuff happen, and then there's another to be like directly manipulating the events to have a certain outcome, and I don't put that past Hung Sung. So we'll see what happens. I understand sending Evan though. Evan seems to be good at talking and not getting super emotional. A little more logic based than maybe Lady Yuri would be. Like how Hung Sung's just like, I've been waiting. What took you so long? I believe that. I believe Hung Sung has like known this from like, they were like not even close to getting to the floor yet. And Hung Sung was just like, all right, I'll make myself some coffee, settle in. Yeah, it's an instant coffee kind of vibe for Hung Sung. I'm also nervous about the idea that, okay, we haven't like met Evankel. Evankel has been away and is not part of any of this. Why? That is my big question. Why is Evankel gone? What is this thing that Evankel needs to take care of? And it must be important because there's a bunch of stuff happening on their floor. They're not there. And there's like princesses of Jahad and irregulars and just tons of things happening. And Evankel is not here, which makes me believe that something pretty important must be happening elsewhere. Do I want to know what that is? I don't know, but it's something that I feel like is foreshadowing something we're going to have to deal with in the future. Just my prediction at this current juncture. I like how Evan's just like, yeah, that is the only reason we're still alive. I think isn't that part of the reason why they decided to come, like force their way into Evankill's floor? It was like they knew that Evankill wasn't around. So they were like, yeah, all right, let's go on a trip. Shake things up. Oh, Hung Sung knows. There's a lot of shady behind doors things going on with this current test. Everybody's got their own motives and angles to play from. It's like not even like within the regulars. I think it would totally make sense for the regulars to like have their own motivations and plans and like schemes going on during the tests, because they're trying to outmaneuver all of the other regulars, even though they've decided to like team up with each other. And you can kind of team up with people as you go up the tower, but I feel like there is kind of that scheming individual kind of feeling to going up the tower. So that would make sense. But now there's like all of these other people who are in positions of authority and power that are also trying to navigate the situation for their own gains. And that must be just like super confusing to navigate. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would rely heavily on someone like Kun and just be like, you do the thing where you can strategize about stuff and I will just follow what you tell me to do. That would be me in this situation. I'd be like, I'm just putting blind faith in someone smarter than me, but I am a great worker. Interesting to say, like, you don't have the right to complain, because it is one of those things where I'm assuming Jahad wants the Black March back and to be in possession of the person that he gave it to. So I don't know if Jahad would get angry at Lady Yuri getting the Black March back. Maybe angry at her losing it in the first place, giving it to an irregular, that kind of a thing, especially if Bomb turns out to be a problem, which I'm assuming he will. I'm assuming he's going to be a bit of an issue for Jahad in the future. So that might get her in trouble, but I don't think she'll get in trouble for getting it back. So I feel like that would like trump a bunch of other motives and like plans that people have, is Jahad wanting the Black March back. Because I feel like that's the most important. I like how Hong Sung's just like, yeah, I know stuff's going on. Yeah, I know that you can come in and get the Black March. Just chill. Hong Sung's like the most unbothered, but then sometimes it's scary. I like how it's just like, true, yes, That's like all of Hong Sung's input on this one. Oh. So we want to eliminate Ren, because he's from Red, and get the Black March. That is what Hong Sung is okay with, is if they eliminate Ren and get the Black March back, doesn't go against any of Hong Sung's orders from the Guardian. And the Guardian, okay, Guardian of the Floor, if I can remember my hierarchies, and I probably don't. Guardian of the Floor, that was like Headon, right? Headon was the Guardian for the floor that Bomb ended up at the beginning. Do we know who the Guardian is for Evankel's? Is it the giant eel thing, or is it something else? Okay, giant eel. I thought so. Cool. Me remembering things. And the giant eel's the one that has come up with the whole test, or is given the rules for the whole test. So, cool. All connected. Oof. I feel like this line shows that there's a little bit of animosity that Hong Sung feels towards Jahad. I feel like maybe they're not on the best of terms. Maybe Hong Sung doesn't have the highest opinion, because like one, talking about referring to like anyone or any kind of issue as garbage is already like diminishing it, but you don't usually think of a king picking up garbage. So the fact that this King Jahad in this particular statement, Hong Sung is saying pick up after himself, he should pick up after issues that arise, is very much like lowering Jahad's status, at least from Hong Sung's perspective, which I think is interesting, because most people are very like fearful of Jahad, and we've seen people use it as threats like Ren does, and other people who cower at just knowing that Jahad has anything to do with what's going on and will just kind of bow out, like won't try to fight any kind of order that comes from Jahad. And then we have Hong Sung, who seems a little bit more brave, perhaps reckless, in the face of Jahad coming and trying to pull authority on what's going on. So I feel like there might be some backstory to that one. So we're just dealing with it. I'm assuming Croydon, maybe? Big Scary is going to deal with the whole getting the Black March back, helping out with that. They're all kind of going towards Lady Yuri, so I'm assuming that's the main objective. I know they want to see her fight, but also they're here for the Black March. The rest of the stuff that's going on is just chaos that has ensued since they were separated from Bomb and the Black March. What a thing to step into, because I have to remember the fact that like Lady Yuri literally knows nothing that's been going on, really, since like what, chapter 2, 3? When did she stop being around Bomb? And so much has happened that I'm like, oof, that'd be a weird place to just step into. A few things have happened. Little chibi Hong Sung. I don't know if I'd call him annoying. I think I would just call him unsettling. You know, people who are just like happy all the time, but there's like a darkness under it? That's like Hong Sung, 24/7. I don't know if Hong Sung is ever legitimately happy in just like a jovial way. I feel like there's always a lot of layers to why he's choosing to act in a very like happy, jovial way. Back to the standoff, and friends have shown up. Perhaps? Ooh, look at Evan getting involved. I feel like Evan is a very good, like, I don't know, almost like a chess player kind of mindset. I feel like Evan, because we know that he knows how to like solve the different levels and stuff. We saw that in like the first chapter with Headon, where Evan was like, this is how you solve the challenge. That's like part of Evan's job, is understanding how to navigate through the tower and all of the different things that come up. So he's very intelligent, and he has a lot of different moving pieces in his head simultaneously. So I feel like he went into this with a certain perspective of how it was going to play out. And again, they've been kind of isolated from what's been happening because they've been traveling in kind of these weird in-between places to get through the tower. So they don't know directly everything that's going on, and they probably didn't to begin with. There's probably things that have been going on for a while that they might not know about, but certainly not that all the things that have been going on with the current test that is going on. So he doesn't have all the information, and he's starting to pull that out now that he's like directly part of it again. So I feel like Evan is having to like re-evaluate how he thought everything was going to move and what the different interactions and ramifications of different movements we're going to have. And it's interesting to kind of see him trying to process through that. He's doing it very quickly, in my opinion, from like the panels that we've seen of him. And it's just him like having to rejig what his thoughts were. Like even him calling Hong Sung annoying, I feel like part of that is like having to change how he thought things were going to go, because Hong Sung has decided to kind of go off what Evan would have predicted his actions would have been and motivations. So I think Evan is one of those characters in my head. Kind of like what Kun wants to be, but hasn't quite gotten that far yet. I feel like Kun doesn't have enough experience with like a lot of things, but specifically with navigating through the tower to be able to properly predict a lot of things. And I think he's kind of stuck in some of his prejudices before this point, whereas I feel like Evan has a ton of experience with the tower in comparison and is like way better at being able to predict what's going on. Are we getting someone else to help with the whole fighting thing so they can say that someone else helped Anak as opposed to Lady Yuri? It's kind of elegant, but I don't know if she'll listen. It's kind of like in Dorsey where it's like Lady Yuri might help anyway. She's kind of already in the murderous mood after her interaction with Red, so she might just want to attack him. But I feel like they have to kind of navigate it delicately so that she doesn't get in trouble. Yeah, see, her being a princess is a tiresome job, having to kind of navigate the politics of it, which is something that I brought up before where I was like, I don't know what the ramifications are going to be for Lady Yuri deciding to help Anak. It's the same with Endorsey, but I feel like the threat is higher with Lady Yuri because again, she has more authority, she has more power, so her deciding to go against something that Jahad has ordered is going to have way greater ramifications, because one, you're gonna have to kind of amp things up to punish someone who has the kind of power that Lady Yuri has, but also you're gonna have to make an example. And when you have someone as powerful as Lady Yuri, you definitely have to make an example of that if she decides to go rogue a little bit. So they're gonna have to be a little bit careful about what they do about this particular instance now that Anak is part of the mix. I like how everyone's just like, huh? What? I thought we were gonna do this, and now things have shifted. Probably without a bunch of context. Hey, she got her weapon back though. It only took forever. But she got the Black March back. Where is Anak? We haven't actually seen her. I'm like, Shibitsu, Ren, and Dorsey. We haven't seen Anak. She was pretty heavily injured. I just want to check in. But I'm assuming that Lady Yuri's gonna back out of this, and Ren's gonna be like, haha, now I can do whatever I want. And then Headon is gonna show up, and the others who have also decided to congregate at where they thought the fight was going to happen. And I don't think it will go well for Ren. Just saying, if they're people that Lady Yuri likes to keep with her as she's traveling through the tower, I'm assuming they're pretty good at the whole fighting thing. I like hit him once. I'm same. I want at least one good punch in just for the satisfaction. I'm kind of upset that we're not going to get a fight, it looks like, but I also understand the logic. Doesn't mean I'm happy about it, just means I understand. Yeah, he's gonna get flattened. It's gonna be somewhat satisfying because now he's like, Ren's like believing that he's kind of navigated this the right way of being like, you can't help them out because Jahad will be angry and I represent Jahad in this instance, his orders and stuff like that. And then I feel like Lady Yuri's friends are going to show up and just crush him. And I'm okay with that. I think it is the smart decision. I don't know if it's the decision Lady Yuri wants to go with. I think her emotions want her to smack him around, but I do think her backing out is the right decision. She can't actually be directly involved in this particular instance. There's too much politics wrapped up around it. See, backup showing up. Lady Yuri wouldn't just step out of this. She has that big sister energy. Ooh, is that like a ring for like Shinsu or something? Because that's what it looks like. That it's like crushing Ren in place with Shinsu. Yeah, wave controller. I like also the giant mallet, just like aesthetically. I am in like video games and stuff, I'm not the most elegant with my fighting strategy. I am definitely the kind of person who is like, I'm going to try and hit the thing really hard and see what happens. We're ending it there? I know that the endings are supposed to make me want to keep reading, but sometimes I'm like, the disrespect. Sometimes. I'm happy that I don't have to wait week to week because I would probably lose my mind a little bit. Okay, next chapter. Chapter 72, which is looking a little bit brute force at the moment. Headon knows how to make an entrance, huh? Just coming in strong. Ooh, that, I mean, do I feel bad? I don't know. Look, I was saying metaphorically that they would squash Ren. I'm kind of happy it was literal. I'm like, huh, look at me predicting something that will actually happen. It brings me a little bit of joy, not gonna lie. Still seems to be giggling though, which is Just so unnerving. I need slightly less giggling from Ren. It's a good plan. It's like have other people get involved. It says like no evidence though. I guess there wouldn't be. I don't really know what counts as evidence. Is like Ren being like, I mean, I guess I'm assuming that they're gonna kill Ren, so I guess there wouldn't be a report with evidence then. I don't know if I'd go with fearless as the word I would use for Lady Yuri. That look in her eye right there, I think ruthless might be more applicable, but I guess you don't survive this long in the tower as she has without that being the case. Ah, okay, thank you, Magnus. True. If Ren doesn't know who's attacking, then there's no way to say for sure that like who it is and that there's a connection to Lady Yuri, right? Because she hasn't said anything about her team being here. It's just him saying like, you brought your team. She has not confirmed that. She has not commented on that. So there's no way for Ren to say with absolute certainty that there is a connection to Lady Yuri or who it is. So even if he did make a report, it'd be easy to like prove him wrong or poke holes in that report. And if you're going to accuse Lady Yuri of attacking you and going against Jahad's orders, I feel like you need like some really concrete evidence, because I feel like getting that wrong would be catastrophic. Okay, so I know that Lady Yuri's here for the Black March. She has it now. There's no way she's not going to try and find Bomb though, because I know she's intrigued by him and she's so close. He's just stuck in a bubble underwater trying to be eaten at the moment. You could just pop in and see how he's doing. Check in. Ooh, interesting. My whole thought about where the bull is popped into my head, that we lost track of the bull. We've also lost track of Anak. I'd like us to come back to that. But also, Lady Yuri seems to know who the bull is or know of the bull, which is also interesting to me. They're underwater too, and the bull is like way better underwater. Oh no. I'm like both worried about what we've seen, like how strong the bull is on land, but they're also underwater. Oh no. But I like Bomb. I mean, he'll probably be fine because he's Bomb, but that just goes back to that whole like ticking time bomb thing. Again, no pun intended, that I feel like is going on with him, with his whole like Shinsu and the energy that he's feeling and the whole irregular and the weird mysteries around him. I just feel like we're pushing him into a desperate corner, which will make some unpleasant things occur. My vague prediction about what is going to happen. I don't know what that'll be, but I feel like it'll happen. Your body is far away. We're gonna have to deal with Ren again? Ren was disturbing and weird. The different skins, like, ugh. I hate that. I hate that so much. There's so many things about Ren that make me unsettled. But also, like, can we take a moment to look at the terror in Endorsi's face now that she knows that the bull, something that she's gone up against, is going after Bomb? I mean, character growth. I'm with you, Endorsi. I'm also worried. There's Anak. See, that's all I wanted. I just wanted a little check-in. I don't like that we're calling her a mutt, though. Again, I'm protective of mutts. On behalf of my grandmother's dog. That's slightly less satisfying now that I know that Ren's just out still doing stuff. I knew it wouldn't be that simple, but still. I had that momentary satisfaction of Ren getting squished. And now it's gone. I'm just worried and unsettled. And upset with him. I feel like it's just all the time with Ren. Uh-oh, she's angry now. She's angry and armed with the Black March. This was not going to go well for most of them. Also, the test is about to be completely derailed, isn't it? I feel like everyone is just going, like, Bomb has no idea of all of the stuff that's going on. It's about to kind of just completely fall apart around him. I'm just waiting for the moment. Ooh, the whole I'll rip this whole stage apart. I believe you. I believe that that is a possibility that only your willpower is keeping you from. What are the random screech noises? I would like some context, perhaps? Oh yeah, she's in battle mode. I'm here for it though. I love the older sibling energy of Lady Yuri because even though I am a younger sibling, I understand. I have like strong like mother bear energy where if anyone ever says, like, people can say awful things to me and be rude to me and I'm just like, it just rolls right off of me. I don't even notice. The moment that someone is rude to someone I care about, I get furious. I am like in fight mode immediately. I'm like, you are not allowed to speak to people I care about like that. I have that all the time with the channel. Someone will say something to me that's like rude in a comment or something, and I just like won't even be fazed by it. Sometimes I just laugh because I think they're ridiculous. And then someone will say something about like the community or my channel, and I get angry so fast. I'm like, hold up. You are not allowed to talk about my community like that. I just, like, the only times that I've ever been angry about comments are, like, ones where they just, like, dismiss my community as being good enough, and I'm just like, hang on, I will fight you. I like how Lady Yuri's just like, let's blow the whole thing up. That's the obvious escalation to all of this is, I don't know, let's blow the whole thing up. You know what? I'm here for it. Let's blow the whole thing up. I'm not gonna get in her way. Hung Sung might get in her way. Oh, I don't want to see that. Just clicked in my head. I'm like, I don't want Hung Sung to get involved with the fighting, because if I'm worried about anyone who might be a match for Lady Yuri, it's probably Hung Sung. Because I don't know if, like, Lororo has the firepower. He doesn't seem like he would want to go up against Lady Yuri, at least not seriously, because he's pretty much Team Bomb. But Hung Sung would fight her in earnest. And that scares me. I remember when he crushed that person, which is one of the regulars. I remember things that scar me. Oh no. I'm having the feeling of Lady Yuri being like, I can't intervene with the actual test because it'll make Mom fail, and there'll be a bunch of consequences to that because it's breaking the rules. We had the whole you're not allowed to interfere thing that Lororo was talking about, which makes me think that she might just go to the source, and if she knows that Hung Sung is in charge of the test, as she does now, she might just go to the head of the problem. You know, and behead it. So I'm a little bit nervous about that possibility now. Again, I feel like Hung Sung might be able to hold his own pretty well against Lady Yuri. I have a lot of confidence in her for most of the people that are currently involved in this test and floor, but Hung Sung is where I'm like, oh, I don't know. Ooh, the threat though. She is not playing around anymore. She is serious. Even Hung Sung's like, huh. See, I feel like those two, Lady Yuri and Hung Sung, might be pretty close matchup wise. So I feel like Hung Sung is like used to being able to control everything that's going on, and I think he very much enjoys having that control. And now we have someone who, you know, like I was saying with like Ren in the last chapter, Lady Yuri is able to like put her foot down and is legitimately a threat, and is able to like not only make those threats and be scary, but she can pull through with them. So things are really starting to, like, the dynamics are starting to shift as like more and more people are getting involved with higher and higher power levels. It's interesting, but there's a lot of tension. I feel like there's a lot of potential for a lot of things to happen, and we're just kind of in that weird like standstill before anyone actually makes the first move. I feel like everyone's still trying to kind of obey rules and orders and stuff like that, and no one's willing to like really step out of that fully and like confidently. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the first person, and it might be Lady Yuri. She seems pretty angry. Ooh, and their intervention. It's true. Isn't Hung Sung like very unfazed by the fact that they were there? Also true that it's the Guardian's plan. So like Hung Sung might be the person directly involved in the test and maintaining that it runs smoothly, but it's the Guardian of the Floor's test. So I feel like if Lady Yuri wants to go against all of that, she's gonna have to deal with the eel, which again, I don't know if that would work out for her. I mean, I think Bomb, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, Bomb. I think he'll probably be alive at the end of the test. I don't know what state he'll be in of alive, which is what I'm worried about. Are we gonna trust him? You do have Endorsi and Anak who could use some help, some medical assistance. Aw, I like that one. Lady Yuri's asking Endorsi for her input, because I feel like that's a sign of like respect for Yuri to be like, I trust you to have like a good idea of what Bomb is capable of, but then also calling her sister, which I feel like means a lot to Endorsi. Both to like be treated as someone who can have an opinion and input on the whole situation, and then also being called sister. It's sweet. Is that the bar where like that's gonna be what convinces him? I don't know. I don't know if that's what'll work in Norsi, but whatever keeps the fighting spirit up. He'll survive. Like I said, I'm sure he will come out of this alive. State, I'm unsure of. What did we give him? You're not gonna tell me, are you? You are. Hey! Sometimes they usually cut away and I don't get to find out until later. The wing tree badge seems to hold some kind of significance. Don't they have badges to mark like their positions in the tower, their jobs in the tower? Oh, okay, so if he has the badge, he can go to the 77th floor later. We're just foreshadowing some stuff. Why are you mentioning Yurik again? Because I remember that being one of the irregulars that is mentioned a couple of times now. Seems a little bit scary, and I'm nervous that not only does he know, but also Yurik seems to be trying to get involved in Bomb being in the tower in some way. I would like an alternative, perhaps. I don't know if there is a good alternative for Bomb interacting with other irregulars though, because I feel like there's a lot to gain from that in terms of like knowledge, experience, and stuff, but also scary. Okay, so that's why the winged tree badge. Cool. Gotcha. He seems scary though, so I don't know if I want Bomb to be near him. But who knows? It'll be after Bomb becomes a ranker, apparently, that'll happen. So maybe Bomb will be alright, or at least maybe seen a lot more stuff, so it won't be as big of a gap between them. Shibitsu is shook. Which, I mean, understandable. No, you can't take the green April. It's a family heirloom. She has a lot of passion about it. Also, she tends to go into murderous rages when people don't respect her family's memory and stuff. So, like, be careful. Not that I think Anak will put up much of a fight against Lady Yuri, especially injured, but she might try. Ooh, I love that line of, it's too heavy for you to carry. Beautiful. Love that. I love all of the layers that are behind saying that, because Lady Yuri has said a few things about, like, what it means to be a princess of Jahad, what having that title actually means, having that job when she was talking to Ren, and then having someone who, like Anak, who hasn't gone through the, like, full process of becoming a princess of Jahad. She's just claimed that as, like, inherited from her mother, so she doesn't know all of the stuff that goes into that, grew up outside of that world deliberately, so she doesn't fully comprehend what being a princess of Jahad means, nor does she understand the, like, history of the Green April, except that her mom had it. So I love saying it's too heavy for you to carry, of, like, Lady Yuri knowing so much more of what it means to have one of those 13-month weapons and all of the weight that is behind having that authority, having that title. So just good interaction, especially the symbolism of her, like, looking down at Anak, the two of them showing that difference in experience and knowledge. Love it. I like how Lady Yuri, though, is like, you can have it back at some point. You just need to understand what it means to have the Green April. But also, Anak, you cannot fight Lady Yuri. It won't work out for you. The big smudge. Also great use of, like, the shadows though. Yeah, I feel like they're just gonna leave and everyone's gonna be like, hang on, I thought you were here to help. I would like some context. A bunch of weird stuff is still happening in the test. I'm sure we'll come back to all of this at a later point. See, okay, I was wondering this, if this was a possibility, but I didn't want to assume just because white hair, blue eyes, that we were still dealing with Kun family stuff. I didn't, you know, I'm used to reading manga and watching anime where sometimes characters just happen to look similar to each other and there's not any kind of familial line. But I was wondering this, especially with the, like, tie ascot thing that he has, where it has the blue and the black, the, like, darker colors, and seeing them, like, side by side, they seem like similar color palettes. And I know that Kun's little thing is connected to his family, so I was wondering, but I didn't want to, like, overstep. I don't want to get too excited, read too much into it. Okay, and one, interesting that they're family, and two, interesting to see someone who is outside of the family, because we know that Kun has his issues with the Kun family. I feel weird now calling him Kun, talking about how he's not super thrilled with his family. We know that he has some issues because of what went on with his sister and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see another person who's outside of their family, because we have, like, Anak stepping outside of the family, then we have, like, this ice individual who is also stepping outside of the family. So I like that we're kind of seeing some of those deviants from some of the structure, because I think it proves an example for the characters we've seen up to this point that seem to want to break out of some of that norm. Oh, okay. So white hair, blue eyes, probably Kun family. Good to know. I didn't want to overstep, because sometimes characters just look like each other, but I will keep that in mind, especially since, like, the families seem to be pretty big. Like, they're kind of more like clans in my brain than kind of families. At least from my culture, families tend to be quite small. They're more, like, direct, whereas with the, like, great houses and stuff, it's a little more like clans in my brain. I don't know how that translates to other cultures, but I have a Celtic heritage, so we have clans. Okay, so we're seeing wings. So we've left the Kun family and now we're with Winged Tree with Yurik. Isn't Yurik the one that went rogue and killed off a bunch of people? Didn't we see the flashback? I can't remember whose it was who was talking about, like, seeing, was it Endorsi? Someone who, like, killed a bunch of people in Jahad's court, house, whatever. Wasn't that Yurik? Oh. That was the other irregular. Phantaminum? Okay, I knew it was an irregular, but I couldn't remember which one it was. Alright, different person. Noted. See, this is why I miss having backup when I'm reading through. It's so much easier to get answers to my questions instead of just being confused the whole time. I appreciate it. Oh, come on, Kun, don't pick a fight. You're just angry because he took over your lighthouse. Why can't we just be a little bit pleasant and get some, I don't know, inspiration? You like going rogue. He has it in his heart, you know? I believe in Kun's ability to just go off the rails. And I think he would be so dangerous if he did, which I want to see. I want to see Kun just freak out all of the powers that be in the tower. I do like the fact that he's like, I'm gonna rule this tower someday. I hope you do. I'd vote for him. Yeah, you're gonna have to figure out how to It's a good point. It's a good point. You did have your lighthouse swiftly taken from you, so maybe backpedal a little bit and baby steps to the whole ruling the tower thing. I know for sure Kun is going to like deconstruct how the lighthouse was taken over and figure it out. Can you imagine though, Kun just like hacking into other people's lighthouses? I can. I think he would definitely take advantage of that skill. He now knows it exists. He's gonna figure it out. Like, he was cute. That's my response too. But I think that also puts in perspective like how distant Kun is from like how the tower actually works, which is what I was talking about before of like, I feel like he just doesn't have enough experience yet. He doesn't know enough of the actual workings of the tower, but he thinks he does. So I feel like a lot of people who do fully understand or have a better understanding see him and they're like, you think you're so smart and you haven't even seen the tip of the iceberg yet of what the tower is, which I mean, Kun is also super young. I think back when I was younger and I also thought that I knew a lot of things and was super smart, and now I'm just like, wow, I was dumb. Like 14-year-old me thought they knew, did not know. I mean, I probably don't even know now. I'm like, I know nothing. That's what I have matured into, is just understanding that I will always not fully understand what's going on, and it's fine because no one else does. We're all just making it up as we go. I agree, it does feel like things have derailed a little bit. Things are going a bit bonkers in the tower, and I feel like it's been so structured up to this point. There have been weird moments where things haven't gone to plan, but I've always felt like there's always like one person in charge, you know, of everything that was going on in the tests, and you could kind of rely on some basic structures. And now I feel like everything's starting to crumble a little bit. And like I was saying before, there's lots of different authorities that are trying to weigh in and control the situation, and it's just creating a lot of tension and chaos because everyone is working for their own thing instead of working together. So there's lots of like contradictions in those plans. So I feel like things are only going to get more and more complicated as they try to like navigate what exactly is going on. And like how Kun's like right back into it. He's back in control. He's gonna figure it out. Yeah, I feel like we're gonna deal with the whole bomb thing now because the bull is on the way. Yes, we're getting more. Sometimes you see a little logo and I'm like, that's the end. We're getting more. It's very exciting. Aw, poor Evan. Just hustling, trying to make things work. Ooh, hello. That's right. Where have you been? What have you been up to? We haven't seen you in a minute. Evan seems shook by you being here. Why? And why are you going there? Because we were just with Sung, and she's going in the direction Evan came from. I'm full of suspicion and worry, but I feel like that's actually where we're going to end. Every time there's a cliffhanger. So I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get a full all-out brawl between Lady Yuri and Ren. I would have liked that. I feel like Ren, while I found it satisfying for them to be smushed, I would have liked a little bit of a drawn-out fight where I got to see them suffer. Just personal preference. After everything that Ren has put the other characters and myself through, I would have liked a little bit more time to enjoy that. But Ren's direct involvement for now has been dealt with. Lady Yuri is deciding to bow out gracefully and hope that Bomb can deal with all of this, which hopefully we've tied up a lot of loose ends at this point. I mean, we still have the stuff going on with like the thieves and worms and stuff like that Kun and Rock are dealing with, but I feel like we're going to switch to Bomb and Rachel because that is something that we haven't fully dealt with, and we're getting to the end of the season, so we're gonna have to deal with it. And I feel like there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on between the bull showing up and Bomb feeling this weird energy coming towards him, and just normal, you know, end of season chosen one related things that I'm sure will happen. So just a ton of layers to what's going on, especially with all the stuff of different people getting involved and navigating or trying to get involved with what's happening and trying to control the situation and have their own reasons for wanting to get involved, their own things to get out of it. But I feel like we're going to put that on pause for a little while. We kind of had a lot of stuff up in the air, like I said, a lot of tension, which I feel like is just gonna kind of sit there for a little while as we shift into Bomb and his part of the story, because I feel like we're going to have to just focus in on what is going on with him and not get a bunch of other stuff kind of tangled up into that, and we'll kind of deal with some of the other stuff. But some great ways of setting up future things, especially when you're getting to the end of a season. It's important to kind of, you can end on a cliffhanger to make people want to come back, but I think setting up a bunch of foreshadowing for stuff that's going to come is more interesting, like the stuff with Yurik and the winged tree and the whole thing with Bomb having permission to go and see Yurik when he becomes a ranker, and going to see Lady Yuri to get the Green April back for Anak. And then we have another member of the Kun family that has deviated from that family and is doing their own thing. So we have lots of different little pieces that have been set up for future chapters and seasons and stuff like that. And I know there's a lot of chapters, so I'm sure that we will get to a bunch of other stuff too. But I like that a lot of the reason that things kind of ended the way that they did was because of all of the politics involved and rules and stuff like that. But I feel like that's starting to like slowly come apart. So there is going to be a point where we do deal with these things. I feel like it might feel a little bit anticlimactic for right now, but because of how the tower works, that's how it has to be. Like, Lady Yuri can't get involved in the way that she wants to, but I feel like as the story progresses, more and more of those barriers are going to come down, and we will eventually get a lot of these moments that have been set up later on. Like, I am really hoping that we get a time where Lady Yuri legitimately gets to fight Ren, like his actual body, which we found out is not what he was using up to that point. So, which, I mean, I'm not super surprised by, because it was just like this weird shadow person that was inside of the costume. So I'm not super surprised that it was not actually Ren, but I'm hoping that we come back to a time where Lady Yuri can go full out and fight actual Ren and just give me that. I need that to be something that happens. So I hope that that is where we end up at some point, but at the moment I just have to worry about what's going to happen to Bomb, which I knew that we were going to get to this point, but I did not know it would be against the bull underwater without any backup, except Rachel, which honestly don't have a ton of faith in. So we'll see how that turns out. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so that you don't miss the next time I post a Tower of God reaction, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!